Once again, we say good evening to everyone, and it's nice having you all back. And I'm hoping that we all had a wonderful time on this Friday. So the last session we had on credential harvesting. So just a recap of that. So we said credential harvesting has to do with fetching credentials like username and passwords and other credentials that we can use to be able to log into yeah, probably our victim's account. And we said there are several tools we can use. Okay, and there are several methods. And we can use some man-in-the-middle tools. Okay, like Evo Twin we can set up, and several tools are there in Kali and in other distributions of Linux as well. But for our case, we looked at the set tool. So this is like a entire package where it has several modules that we can make use of. So this tool comes pre-installed with Kali, I guess so. Yes, it can pre-installed with the image. But if it's not, you can use this command sudo apt install set, and you'll be able to install this tool. And to be able to start the tool, you just need to type this command. Okay, I think you need to add sudo and set toolkit, and then you can start the tool. And yesterday we were able to start the tool. We were able to use the social engineering module where we were able to clone 2 different websites. And we used our local host on our local machine to access the clone site, the fake site that we hosted, and we were also able to capture the username and the password that was entered from the application. And we continue up to installing Ngrok. And yes, so we were able to install this Ngrok and create an account, because the reason you need to create an account, you need to provide the token, okay, into the configuration file on your machine. So before you obtain the token, you need to create an account, and then you can get the token from your account. Yep. So we did that, and then we started the Ngrok server, but we were unable to access our local site that was hosted on the Kali to be able to access it from online. And the reason we couldn't access that, it was because we use localhost. So by default, the localhost, okay, is assigned to the machine itself, okay. So you cannot type localhost and then you expect to get that web application from another PC. Okay. So what happened, because we were actually using Windows to get the web page, and we were using Kali as the server. So Kali is another different machine. It's hosted as another machine using another network, okay, or probably the same network. And our Windows machine is also another machine. So there are two local hosts, and we were trying to access the local host of the Kali's machine, okay, from the Windows machine. Okay, so there was the confusion and we couldn't access that file because once we are using localhost within Kali, that application will not be accessible in Windows. So what now we have to do is to use the IP address of the Kali instead. Okay, so the IP address will be able to point back to the localhost of Kali. But if we just use localhost, it means that it's a loopback and it is only going to operate within that local environment. So now we will have to go back to the demo and see how we can be able to set that up. So I'll just stop this. I'll share the screen. So I'll go to Kali. So expand this, clear this. Yep. So the first thing we want to do is let's start our local server and see if we can access that from our Windows machine. So we use service sudo Apache 2 start. Okay. So let's start our browser. So now if we type localhost, let's enter, and this is the Apache server. This is the default page. All right. So let's go back and let's start our tool. So sudo and this is our set tool. And so as we said, we were using the social engineering attack, and it's number one, press enter. and we use 2 for web attack vector, and we use 3 for credential harvesting. And we can choose to go either with the cloning or custom input or use the web template. So yesterday we were able to clone 2 sites. So today let's try the template. So we select one for template. And they're asking us for the post back IP. So here, instead of typing or using the local host, we're going to use the IP address of this Kali. So this is the IP address of the Kali. Or if you can see the IP address there, we can, let me open the different tab. So we type rf config, and we can be able to see the IP address of Kali. So 97, and it's the same 97. So let's put that and enter. Now they have 3 templates for now. Okay, so we will use Google, which is number 2. That's for test. And they're asking that Apache is enabled, and we want to disable Apache. So I think it comes with its own server, so we can disable Apache. So we say yes. And harvester is ready. So okay. So now let's go back to our browser. And then let's reload this one. So here we can see, right, this is the Google page. Okay. And mind you, it's a fake Google page. So yep. So let's see if we can enter my email at gmail.com and password. I press enter. The internet access is blocked. Okay. Mm, so let's come back here and see if we got the results. Okay, so there was a credential. I think we have to use VPN or disconnect that. Just a minute. So it's not redirecting to the Google page. Let's come back. Let's try to re-enter. So now, yeah, the problem was from the VPN. Yeah, so after we have entered the credential, then it reloads to Google. So let's see if we captured, yep. So we were able to capture the email and the password. Okay. So so what we would do, okay. So let's see if anyone can get access to this page yeah, by using this IP. Yep. So you can type in this IP in your local machine or in your phone, whatever. Just hit me up and tell me if you are able to access the login page. Can anyone access?
Oh, I'm not able to. It's like I have some VPN issues.
No,
Connection is not.
no, I'm not sure it's an issue. Okay, you shouldn't be able to access this because this is a local IP. Right? When you study networking, you know that this range is it's in yeah, it's a local range. So by default, this will not be accessible using in the public space. So this is where Ngrok comes in. And so as we discussed yesterday, so the first thing we have to visit the Ngrok page, Ngrok, and create our account. From here, we can log in or we can sign up. Okay. So I was able to create an account yesterday. So I just log in. Okay, I think it's in already. Yep. So you can choose which OS you're using, if it's Linux. So all we have to do is to copy this code into our terminal in Linux and just run, and it's done. And next, so this is the token. So we also need to copy this entire code, and this token will be added to the config file. And the third step is to run Ngrok. Okay. So we have already done this and this. So now we need to run this so that we can be able to access this local server remotely. Okay. So now we have to come back here and I will use another. Okay, and I type this. Okay. So this is the code ngrok http and followed by your IP. So let's leave this local host and try to run. So by default, Ngrok is going to assign us a temporary domain name. So this is the domain name. So like I said yesterday, because we are using a free plan, so it's going to be weird. But if you're using the paid version, you are likely to get you can create your own URL, your own domain you can purchase and use that. But for testing purpose, we can use this one. So let's copy and I come here and paste this here. let's see what happened. Let's visit the site. Okay, so it's refusing. Okay, and this is the error we were getting yesterday. So what we will do, we have to come back here, and so instead of localhost, then we need to pass in the IP address of our local machine, this machine. So what we do again is rf config. So this is the IP, and let's try the IP instead of localhost. So let's try that. Connecting online. So now it's pointing to this IP. So let's copy, and as we can see here, we still have our um, server up, waiting for any input, okay, from the link. Okay, so continuously it's gonna wait for any input. So let's come back, and let's this right here. Let's enter, and let's visit the page. Okay, so we need to stop this. And Kali, and let's start Apache. Main. Okay, so it's already been accessible. So we'll cancel this first, and again run Apache. Now Apache has started, and it's pointing to this URL. So we see we can get this URL online. Oops, no. Get in the tab, paste in this URL. Mm, okay, so we get this. So let's go back, and yep, let's stop this and let's start over. Yep. So again, let's copy this, and now we should be able to get access to this site. Yep. So now we can get access to Apache online. So let's go back and run our clone site. So we use 3 and clone site. And then we also need to pass in this. Oh, yep. And we use Google. Do we want to stop? Say yes. Okay. Um, so let's come back and let's refresh this. So now we can access Google from right here. So I'll just paste this URL in the chat in the WhatsApp, and let's see if anyone can get access to this. So just try to access it and enter any random credential. I'm gonna just put this on the screen so that we all can watch what's happening. Yep, so just enter any random credential. Is any issue?
I can able to access.
Sir?
Yeah, the URL which you sent, I can able to access. After entering that, I gave my Google credentials.
Just randomly enter. So after you have clicked this link, you will see there will be a first page, and on that page, just look for where you have visit site. So there's a button there called visit site. So just click on that button,
Okay,
and
visit
then it will
site.
take you. Yes, visit site.
Yeah, I clicked on that.
Yes, click on that, and you see the page will open.
Okay.
Yep. So I'll just try also for my phone. Let me see what happened. Yep, so you can see we have one credential. So on some networks, they might block this URL because uh, yeah, this URL might be blocked by some networks. So probably you might have to use VPN or so. Yes. So once you have such kind of URL, your internet service providers or maybe your browser or whatever might detect this as a phishing URL, and they might try to block it. Yeah. So what you can do, you can either use VPN or you can use some other browsers. But yes, this is just for testing purpose. Most times, if you are in like for the real job, you're not going to use such URL. You're going to have your own domain. Yeah, you're going to create your own domain. Similar, maybe since this is Google, you can create a domain, for example, google.com. All right. So instead of double O, you can triple the O, like that, or you triple the L. Most people won't notice such changes. So yeah, but for testing purpose, you can do this one. So this is the set tool, and this is Ngrok. So the set tool can be able to help us to clone or create our own web page or clone exactly as Facebook page or Gmail page, TikTok page, whatever, even your school's page or any organization for that matter. So we can clone that page, and then we can be able to set up our local server, and using Ngrok, we can be able to extend that to the public network. And with that, we can just sit and relax. And as credentials come in, we can just have them and save them somewhere or use them whatever we like. Yep. So most times when you are receiving phishing emails, like you have to click your account, someone is attempting to reset your password, so you have to click here and reset your password. Such emails you might receive. And if you're not careful, sometimes to pay attention to details, and you think your account is at risk, and then you will likely click on that link, and it takes you directly to the exact page. If it's Facebook page, the interface is just like Facebook. Okay. So you would then enter your credentials, and before you know it, they've already gotten hold of your account. So most of the time, this is how we we get hacked without us knowing. You'll see someone like, but I didn't give my credential to anyone, but they forgot to know that they thought they were logging into their account to secure their accounts or to reset their password, but they were actually giving out their credentials. So this is it. And if you have any question, or we can skip over to the second topic. So if you have any trouble in setting up this, you can always contact me. I'm always available if there's any issue in setting up. Also try to go through these modules so we can use two, for example, for pen testing. We can do Microsoft SQL brute force. As we know, Microsoft SQL is another type of SQL database engine. Yep. So we can do that. We can set up custom exploits and yep, PowerShell injection. So we can select any of them. Example one. So we can scan and attack MS SQL, or we can connect directly to the Microsoft SQL service. That one. Yep. So we can select which to connect to, which IP. Okay. So we can either get the IP address of the client and be able to put in the IP right here. But it should be running Microsoft SQL, okay, not MySQL. So MySQL is from Oracle and MS SQL is from Microsoft. So, yep. We can use third-party modules by using 3. And here we see, yep, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have a remote administration tool, Tommy Edition, okay, which can create payloads for us. So if we just let 3, for example, we need to enter the IP address, which, for example, we can use our local IP. Oops, what have I done? Cancel. Yep, to and custom. So we can set our third-party indication and we set 3, and we can enter IP, not just enter localhost .1, and we can set a port 80 example. So should it be persistent, yes or no? So we'll say yes, and we specify file name. So we can be able to enter the file name here, and or we can leave it empty. Yeah. So we also need to get the payloads ready. Okay. Yep. So we need to have the payloads ready in this file, in this directory. Yep. But the directory is empty, so we cannot have access to this. So it's a third-party module, so we can always download that from the GitHub page and be able to use these options. Yeah, so go around and play with it and see what you can do with it. Just a minute. Okay, so just as we started the last time about the social engine mining. So basically, this is where we will be identifying sensitive data or information that are exposed or that are vulnerable to the endpoints, okay, or that might be related to our targets. So basically, we want to be able to find what are those information out there about the target, which might be important for us in um, our pen testing process. Okay, so there are tons of information being available on the public space. So like email addresses, they can help us because if we are performing, for example, a phishing attack, or we sending bulk emails and so forth, we might want to get email addresses, okay, of the people working there, like that. And we might also want to know the list of files or directories that are within that web server. And there are a lot more, okay, like what country they're in and so forth. Mm. So we can be able to use this social engine mining to gather those information. So we started with um, Google Dorking the last time. Yep. And we say Google Dorking, it's using like an advanced feature or advanced query of the basic Google. So just as we used Nmap and then we used Nmap script engine as an advanced option for Nmap. So using Google regularly by just searching, example, we might want to search for um, stars IT. So we just press enter. All right. So basically, we will get the website and Facebook page and IG page and other information that are available. Okay. So we can next and we can see other data. But what if we, for example, we want to get email addresses that are associated with um, this, okay, with this organization, okay. So, so for example, we can use intext, okay. So we said intext, we can use intext to be able to search in the pages of this domain, okay, for specific text, okay. Um, so in text, for example, we want to pass at, okay, at starsit.com, and in URL or inside the site we want to use is starsit.com. Okay, so the site we pass in is this site, this domain, and within this domain, we want to get something like stars@starsit.com. Okay, and let's search. Okay, so I think we should pass in the site first. Oops. Nope. Okay. So we pass in the domain site. This is the site, and then within the site we want to search in the text. So all of the pages that are within this domain, we want to search the text. And what we want to search is using this at starsit.com, because we know that these organizations will use the domain, okay, as the email. So instead of using gmail.com, usually they will use the extension of the domains. Okay, so this is why we did this one. So any text that has at and followed by this starsit.com, we want to get. So from our results, we see here we can find email, okay, contact at starsit.com. Here again, we see contact at. So we see contact at. So basically, yep, they have only this contact at available online. Okay. So yep. So let's see if we can get other organize some other site which might have other credentials or other email addresses. So let's see if we can get mm, let's see Flipkart. Let's see Amazon, for example. Nope. Nope, we don't need the URL. We just need to search for Amazon. Okay, so this is Amazon. Okay, so let's see if we can copy this URL. And so now instead of stars, we use amazon.in. And here we use amazon.in. And let's enter. Yep. So site is amazon.in, and in text we want to get at amazon.in. Let's see if we can see any result. So nope, we're not getting anything. Let's try amazon.com, and here .com. Yep. So probably the informations are not made publicly available, so we can get yeah, access to them, because this is a um open information. So once it's not made public, so we can get access. So we need Mm. So example, we'll just use this one. And let's copy the URL, the domain, and paste the domain here. And again, let's do the same. And let's search. Oops, we have all together. Yep, so here again we can find. So again, it's not made available. So let's search for. Mm, so yel.edu.lr. And research. So here we can see that, yep, we got contact at el.edu.lr. Here we got contact, here we got contact, here we got contact. So, yep, some of the time you might get the results if they are publicly available, and if they are not, you won't be able to get to them. And we also introduced the harvester. Okay, we also introduced the harvester. Just a minute. Yep. So we also introduced this tool, okay, which we can also use to be able to get subdomains and get email IDs. So example, we can use the harvester dash D for domain. We pass in the domain example, and dash B for the source. Okay, and we say we can use any source, like Bing, like Google, and so forth. So for example, if we're using Google as a source, okay, so now they said invalid source, PNG, Bing. So we can use Bing. So I think Google is not supported anymore. So Bing was not able to give us anything. So instead of using the sources one after the other, we can just use all of the sources and we just wait. So it's going to scan for all the sources, and where we get the result, then it's going to display it all. So it's sessioning different sources. It's also searching for subdomains. Yes, so as the search is ongoing, we also discussed that we can use several other keywords or operators, okay, like file type. So for example, we can use site and we pass in the domain ul.edu.lr and we give file type. We say PDF, for example, and we can press enter. So we see that every domain that ends with ul.edu.lr is going to bring only PDF files for that. So PDF, PDF, PDF. So all of these files are PDF files. Yep, PDF, PDF, PDF. Yep. So if we needed PPT for PowerPoint presentation, so there's no PowerPoint presentation, you will see X, no Word document, video C, nope. So yep, we can use that file type, and yep, we can also be able to use that. So there are several um, commands we can use yep, within this Google. Let's check and see if it's still session, still going, session brief. And we also said we can use several online tools like Shodan. So we were able to get some live webcams from Shodan the other time. Yep. So even we can click here, we have cameras, here we have webcams. So example, we just click webcam. Yep. So automatically we have webcam in the search. And here we can see different type of webcams. We just click one. So those webcams that are publicly available, okay, like for example, in India, we have several webcams or IP cameras all over the so most of them are being connected via most of them probably they are being linked via public IPs. So if it's linked via public IP and if it's not secure, there are possibilities that you can find them. But once they are secured, even if it's linked via public IP, it's not going to be accessible. But yep, most of these IoT devices, like we said, most of the softwares are not being updated, so most of the time you find um, vulnerabilities in them. So it's still loading. We have them, but still loads. This one is yep. So you can just try them out. Some of them are gonna fail. Yep. So this one is requesting for username and password. So this one has. So we can try anything. Admin, admin. Let's reload. Don't know what happened, but try this. And like we said, we can search per country. So for example, in the US, oops, I think our network is some problem. Search again. Webcam. Let's try China. Okay, so we have to log in to be able to use this filter feed. So yep, so this is just it. You can play around. You'll be amazed to see a lot of cameras when publicly available. You can watch live feeds. And there's also another one we can use called Sin6. Plus Sin6 also we can use this tool for performing um, information gathering. We can also use ZoomEye. So here we can be able to pass in the domain and for example, .com. And we search so we can be able to gather a lot of details, the ports that are on the softwares and yep, the IP. So yep, so we can get information about that. And we can also use some I, and there are just a lot of them. But this one says a cyberspace search engine. Okay, so we can search here for CVEs and other vulnerabilities as well. Yep. So I think we are already out of time. It's after 9. So yeah, there are a lot of tools we can use. Some you can use them as extensions. Some you can use them as um, application that you have to install, and some of them you can just use online for free. So whatever tool you are more comfortable with, and most times you, as a pen tester, you wouldn't want to stick to just one tool. You can have multiple tools so that you can compare the results and see how accurate they are. The more tool you use, the more you get more understanding of which one is more accurate than the other. So whenever you are starting, you want to get hold of as much tool as possible. You want to understand how they work and what are the advantages, at what time you can use what, and yeah, such like that. Let's check back and see if we got our result. Okay, so I think it's completed. So we were able to get some IPs. We were able to get the domain that we know. No linking address found. 3 emails were found. Okay. So we were not able to get these emails using the Google Dorking. But now using the harvester, we were able to get the admin, for example, right? So yeah, this is why we can't rely on a single tool. Okay, we have to try out other tools. Okay, so we found 2 emails. We also find some other subdomains. Okay. Yep. So this one is survey. So example, let's just copy this and paste it in our browser. Let's see what it does. HTTP. Oops. So we have a redirect. So we think that side has some. But yeah, we were still able to recover them that they are having some other websites apart from the original or the main domain. Yeah. So this is good. Go and try out more. The more you try out, the more you get used to them, and the more you are more comfortable in using them, and the more you become bold in using them. Yep. So you can take a project, take a particular domain, or you can get access from your institution or your school. Tell them you want to find you want to test the system to see if it's the web application and so forth. You want to find some loopholes if there are any, and you can maybe report to them. So once they accept, you can start that as a fine project. Even if you're not paid, it's always good to start. Yep, do an intern and get more idea, more knowledge. Yep, experience. As it said, it's the best teacher. So we learn more by doing, and we get more confident when we do. Aside from just listening, aside from just reading and like that. So, but the more we are engaged in the practical work, the more we do stuff. So thank you so much for being there. If there's any question, then we can address that. Today is Friday, so I guess Saturday and Sunday it's a day off, and we can take that time to reflect on the past lessons we've been doing and try to do some on your own. So, like I usually say, this is not like a um, learning phase. It should be more of you getting experienced because um, whenever, example, you are opting in for an interview, you should have some understanding of these things, and you should be able to say them with utmost confidence, at least. Yep. So if any question, then you can say. If not, then we can call this a happy weekend, and you can go and enjoy yourselves and have a great weekend with the family and enjoy with your friends, and also enjoy using your laptop. So can I get some thumbs up if we're good to go? Good. One. Good. Two. Three. And we're about eight. Four.
Okay, good for me as well.
Five. All right. So good. Thank you so much. And I wish you a happy weekend. Still blessed. And don't forget to always stay by your PC. Learn new thing every day. Take 1 hour, take 30 minutes, take 1 hour, 30 minutes to just play around and get yourself familiar. Thank you so much, and I'll see you. Yes.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you.
Yep. I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
Okay. Thank you.